Heidi, an orphan who spent 5 years confined to her Aunt Diet's house, is taken to the Swiss Alps to live with her grandfather, Alpol. Despite warnings about Alpohi's reclusive nature,
Das ist Heidi. Eures Großkind.
Dede leaves Heidi there and departs. Initially, Alpol rejects Heidi, but she spends the night in the barn. The next day, he reluctantly begins to care for her, offering goat milk and attending church with her. The priest insists Alpol should care for Heidi, planning to find her a place in Meinfeld if he refuses. Heidi chooses to sleep in the attic filled with hay and expresses her wish to stay, but Alpol doesn't respond.
Nacht, Großvater.
The next day, Heidi joins goatherd Peter and the goats, finding joy in the mountains, which contrasts with her previous life confined indoors. While with Peter and the goats, Heidi strikes a deal to share her food in exchange for Peter not hitting the goats. When she returns home, her awkward behavior around Alpol reveals she's heard rumors about his past. Alpol encourages her to trust her own judgment over gossip, deepening their relationship. Touched by Heidi's affection, Alpol crafts a second chair, signaling her permanent stay. Heidi enjoys her days with Peter, even cutting her hair for ease. When Peter leaves for school, Heidi wishes to attend too, but Alpol is hesitant due to winter isolation. As winter arrives, Alpol builds a sleigh for Heidi, and they visit Peter's family. Heidi learns of Peter's school struggles and his grandmother's difficulties. Returning home, Heidi grows more appreciative of Alpol's care. Years later, Dete reappears, suggesting a new home for Heidi, but Alpol firmly refuses, skeptical of Dete's renewed interest in Heidi. Dete, regretting her past actions, unsuccessfully tries to persuade Alpol to let Heidi go with her. She deceives Heidi into thinking Alpol wants her to leave, and a saddened Heidi agrees. Peter witnesses their departure. Alpol, realizing too late, faces mockery from neighbors when he can't find them.
Heidi.
In Frankfurt, Heidi reaches the Sesemann mansion and meets Sebastian, Tinette, and Rottenmeier. Despite Rottenmeier's disapproval, Date promotes Heidi as a suitable companion for Clara, the house's wheelchair-bound daughter. The two girls form an instant connection, with Clara protecting Heidi from getting into trouble.
Heidi, hör auf. Ich stelle dir jetzt einen Rottenmeier vor. Das ist Gouvernante vom Fräulein. Gouvernante?
Heidi undergoes grooming and etiquette training to fit in as Clara's companion. She struggles with reading, prompting extra tutoring alongside Clara.
Sieht aus wie ein Berg.
Ja, es sieht aus wie ein Berg.
Fräulein Clara, das ist nicht zum Lachen.
Peter kann es auch nicht.
Peter.
Peter?
While adapting to house rules, Heidi maintains her love for nature, dreams of the mountains, and secretly hoards bread rolls. Her friendship with Clara deepens, learning about Clara's loneliness and disability. One day, Heidi persuades Sebastian to let her see the city. Disappointed at not seeing the mountains from the city tower, Heidi takes Clara on an impromptu city tour. They end up buying kittens from a street vendor, lifting Clara's spirits.
Ich hab etwas, das dem Fräulein bestimmt gefallen tät. Wenn sie ein paar Pfennige hätten.
At the Sesemann house, Rottenmeier becomes frantic when she can't locate Heidi and Clara, prompting a servant search. Sebastian finds them, and Clara cleverly hides the kittens. Upon their return, Rottenmeier's scolding is interrupted by allergic sneezing, causing laughter when the cats startle her. For punishment, Heidi is made to stand in a corner during dinner, with Rottenmeier threatening harsher penalties next time. Defiant, Heidi plans to leave with bread rolls for Peter's grandmother, but is halted by Rottenmeier, who emphasizes Heidi's privileged situation. Clara's disappointment deeply affects Heidi. Heidi's dreams worsen, and Clara, blaming herself, stays confined to her room. Once Clara recovers, Heidi reassures her of their friendship, easing Clara's fears. Clara resumes her classes, while Heidi struggles with reading. Mr. Sesemann and Grandmother Sesemann return home, noting Clara's progress, but concerned about Heidi due to Rottenmeier's complaints. Grandmother Sesemann motivates Heidi to read and emphasizes her importance to Clara's well-being, also acknowledging Mr. Sesemann's guilt about his frequent absences.
Papa!
Clara, mein Kind. Mein liebes Kind.
Papa, wie schön.
Strange nightly noises lead to ghost rumors among the staff, but Mr. Seisaman is doubtful. Heidi, encouraged by grandmother Seisaman, improves her reading skills and impresses the family, leading Mr. Seisaman to decide she should stay. While Clara is thrilled, Heidi is visibly upset by this decision. One night, the source of the noises is revealed to be Heidi sleepwalking. The doctor, finding her in a distressed state, diagnoses her with severe homesickness. Despite initial reluctance, Mr. Seisaman agrees to send Heidi back to the mountains after reflecting on his wife's past suffering. Clara reacts bitterly to the news of Heidi's departure. While packing, the servants fill a basket with bread rolls and food for Heidi's journey. Heidi leaves Mr. Seisaman a wooden bird for Clara and secures a promise for a future visit. Heidi departs with mixed feelings, excited to return to Alpol but concerned for Clara. Rottenmeier anticipates peace after Heidi's departure, but a kitten named Heidi by Tanette keeps things lively.
Tja, von hier oben kann man keine Berge sehen, aber schau, von dem Turm sieht man viel weiter.
Back in the mountains, Heidi quickly slips back into her familiar life, reuniting with Peter and Alpol and enjoying the freedom of herding goats. She writes to Clara, sharing her mountain experiences and hoping for a visit. Moved by Heidi's letter, Clara and grandmother Seisaman visit the mountains, leading to a joyful reunion between the girls. Alpol hospitably receives Clara as a guest, declining any payment. Heidi introduces Clara to mountain life, including simple clothing, interacting with goats, and sleeping on hay.
Heidi.
Their time together brings happiness, but Peter grows jealous, opting out of their activities and herding alone, since Clara's wheelchair limits her mobility. One morning, Peter's jealousy leads him to throw Clara's wheelchair off a cliff. Then he heads off with the goats. Alpol, suspecting Peter, carries Clara on his back, with Heidi joining them to explore the mountains. Alpol reprimands Peter and assigns him to watch the girls for the day. During their outing, Clara is enchanted by the scenery and a butterfly on her foot. Attempting to catch the butterfly, she surprises everyone by standing up, marking the start of her walking practice with Heidi and Peter's help. Later, when grandmother Seisaman arrives with Clara's father, his initial anger dissipates as he witnesses Clara walking. Overwhelmed with joy, he embraces his daughter. Grandmother Seisaman gifts Heidi a notebook and pen to encourage her storytelling passion, advising her to follow her happiness regardless of others' opinions. After a heartfelt farewell with Clara, Heidi resumes her life with Peter in the mountains, now with her notebook as a constant companion, capturing the magic of each day through her writings.
Nun, es ist Zeit für das Abendbrot. Gehen wir zu Tisch. Ja, ist dort drüben. Gibt es Berggeister und Gnome. Hast du schon mal einen gesehen?
That wraps up our journey with Heidi and her mountain adventures. If you enjoyed this story, remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Stay tuned for more captivating tales. Until our next vlog, keep the adventure spirit alive.